What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started today, I gotta go ahead and say thank God for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I got a very special build in store for y'all. Now, this one has definitely got to be one of my favorite build names, and this one's going to be called the two-way walking bucket build in NBA 2K24 on next gen. Now, this build, it's going to be reminding me of Devin Booker. We're going to be making it out of the shooting guard position today. And with the attributes, the ones that can get a 100 plus are going to be the close shot, layup, mid-range, three-pointer, free throw, ball handle, perimeter defense, and even our stamina. Now, as far as for animations, as you can tell from the gameplay already, we're going to be able to get all of the elite dribble packages, and as far as for the layups, we're going to be able to get more of the upgraded ones. Now, as far as for badges, we're going to be able to get 13 Hall of Fame out of this build. Some of those are going to be Giant Slayer. We also get Dream Shake, Hook Specialist, Post Fade Phenom, Scooper, Spin Cycle. This build is definitely a nice finisher on the inside, and one badge that I really particularly like is going to be Free Points and Post Spin Technician. Now, this is really just to start with what today's build can do. But look, before we get any further into today's video, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with the response. So the first thing to get started is that we want to put this build under the shooting guard position. Now, as for the height, I'm going to go ahead and put this to 6'6". And moving on to our weight, I decided to go ahead and put this up to 201. Now, for that wingspan, I'm going to leave this at 6'11". And this is actually what we're going to be looking like moving forward with today's build. Now, the first area that I really want to get into is going to be the physicals. So as for when it comes to our speed, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to an 82. Now, moving on to our acceleration, this is really optional. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to an 84. Moving on to our strength, I'm going to go with a 66. And then as for that vertical, go ahead and leave this at a 52. With the stamina moved all the way up to a 96. Now, for these numbers, once you do your Gatorade facility workouts, they're going to read a 100 stamina, 56 speed, 70 strength, 88 acceleration with an 86 speed. Now, this is just to give you a small glimpse of what the build can do moving forward. From here, let's go ahead and check out what we're going to be looking like on the finishing end. So one of the most unique things about today's build is going to be the high close shot rating. So I'm going to go with the 92 here. As for when it comes to our driving layup, I'm going to go with an 84. And then as you can see, we already do get a good amount of badges unlocked. I'm going to make sure that I go over in detail after we create the build together. Now, getting into the post control, put this up to a 90. Now, right there, we're going to be able to get a lot of Hall of Fame post scoring badges. Now, to move on into the shooting, I'm going to go ahead and put my mid-range shot all the way up to an 89. Now, moving on to that three-pointer, I'm going to go ahead and put this to an 88. And if you want to, for your free throw, this is definitely optional on the build. Today, I did decide to go ahead and put it up to a 99. And I think this is a build that anybody would definitely want closing out a rec game. Now, free points is definitely one of my favorite badges that I have used this year, and especially if you take into account rec or any 5v5 game mode, I think this is going to be the perfect build for that. Now, getting into the shooting and the playmaking, these really are going to go hand in hand. So as for when it comes to the ball handle, I'm going to go with the 92. Moving on to that pass accuracy, put this to a 77. And then as for our speed with ball, I'm going to go with an 83. Now, with these numbers, especially for the ball handle rating, that's going to allow us to unlock all of the elite packages for the dribble animations. Now, for the pass accuracy, once you do add boost, you're going to be in the 80s range. And then for that speed with the ball, this has the potential to get to 99 plus. Now, when it comes to the defensive end, I'm going to go ahead and put my perimeter all the way up to the rating of 90. And as you can see on this build, we're pretty close to getting finished. Now for the final remaining attributes, it really comes to how you want to create this build. So for my best interest on everybody who did decide to follow along, just go ahead and put your final tick into the defensive rebound. And this is something what we should be looking like moving forward on today's build. Now starting with the badges for the finishing, some of my favorites, look, the Hall of Fame of course, but I like Dream Shake. Hook Specialist I think is going to be super nasty. Then we get Post Fade Phenom. Even a lot of gold badges for this area. My favorite has definitely got to be Gold Fearless Finisher. Now for the layup rating, I think this really allows us to be versatile on the inside. Now for the post scoring end, I think getting Unpluckable is definitely special as well. Now from there, we're also able to get Post Spin Technician. And as for the shooting, we get badges like Blinders, Catch and Shoot. I like Space Creator, Mini Magician, Open Looks. And then as for when it comes down to our 3-point rating, this makes a huge difference, and my favorite badge for this area is going to be Space Creator. Now there's definitely other ones like Agent 3 and Limitless Range, and I think it makes the build all the better. Now as for the playmaking and the pass accuracy, I wanted to make sure that I get the minimum of Relay Passer, Special Delivery, Break Starter all on the silver tier. And then as for the ball handle itself, look, we get Gold Blow-By, Handles for Days, Killer Combos, a lot of great badges to move forward. And look, one that I'm looking at is definitely going to be Silver Physical Handles. Now for the speed with ball, I think we look pretty solid out of this area as well. And then for the perimeter defense, I think we're all set to move forward on today's build. We get Silver Clamps, 94 feet Challenger, even Fast Feet. Now I think this is the perfect build for anybody who is jumping into NBA 2K24 right now. You get all of the badges. You could be a point guard, a shooting guard, a little bit of an on-ball defender. But my favorite thing about today's build is definitely got to be this post scoring and inside finishing. Now let me know right now your thoughts and opinion on this build creation. Are you going to create it exactly how I brought it to y'all, or are you remaking it to your own liking? Now from here, let's go ahead and move forward to make sure that we made the build correctly. And if you followed every single step of the way, we should be able to get these 3 comparisons, D-Book being one of them. And as y'all can see together, we have created the rare 2-way walking bucket build in NBA 2K24 on next gen. Now I really believe that this is the best version of this build that you can make. I went back and forth through the attributes, making sure that I reach minimum thresholds to move forward and get the best badges available. Now look, once you max the build out at 99 overall, this is what you should expect. Take into account the +4 that you get from buying your own boost, your additional takeover boost as well as gear, and you have a lot more potential put into this build. Now before we get out of here, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with the response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.